Hello, and welcome to Stoic Love, the place where we delve into stories of unimaginable loss, the quiet hope that defies logic, and the enduring connection that can bridge 2 decades of silence. This is my true story. I buried my son 20 years ago. I stood at his grave every Sunday for 2 decades. His phone number stayed in my contacts because deleting it felt like losing him twice. Last month, my phone rang at 2:47 a.m. His name lit up the screen. I answered. A voice said, "Dad, where am I?" It was him. My dead son was calling me, confused, scared, asking why nothing made sense. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. 20 years ago, I buried my son beneath an oak tree at Riverside Cemetery. His name was carved into gray stone, Michael James Porter. Born the 12th of April 1986, died the 3rd of November 2005. 19 years old. The funeral lasted 40 minutes. My son's mother stood beside me but wouldn't look at the casket. Grief killed our marriage. We divorced 3 years after he died. She remarried. She had another child. She built a new life. I couldn't. I kept his room exactly the way he left it. His clothes still hung in the closet. His phone number stayed in my contacts. I paid the bill every month even though the phone had been disconnected. $30 a month to keep his number alive in my phone. People said I needed therapy. People said I needed to let go. I didn't care what people said. You don't get over losing a child. You just learn to walk carefully around the hole they leave behind. My son stayed 19 forever. Frozen in time. A boy who never got to become a man. I accepted it. Dead is final. Until last month, when his number lit up my phone at 2:47 inches the morning. I grabbed the phone off my nightstand and looked at the screen. The name said, Michael, my son's name. His contact photo stared back at me. A picture from his 18th birthday. Smiling. Alive. I sat frozen in bed holding the phone. The number had been disconnected for 19 years. I had tried calling it hundreds of times over the years. It always went to a recorded message saying the number was no longer in service, but now it was calling me. On the 6th ring, something inside me broke. I pressed the button. I lifted the phone to my ear. For 3 seconds, I heard nothing. Just silence. Dead air. Then I heard breathing. Slow breathing. Steady. Human. My throat closed up. I tried to say hello, but no sound came out. Then a voice spoke. Dad? One word. Quiet. Confused. Scared. My son's voice. This was him. Not a recording, not a memory. Him. Dad? Are you there? He said again. His voice cracked. Michael? I whispered. Yeah. It's me. Where am I? His question made no sense. What do you mean? I asked. Where are you calling from? I don't know, he said. I don't know where I am. Nothing makes sense. Dad, something's wrong. He made a sound like a sob. I don't know. I remember the accident. I remember the truck hitting me. I remember dying. I felt it, Dad. I died. But then I woke up and everything was different. He sounded like a little boy again, lost and afraid and needing his father. Tell me where you are, I said. Give me an address. I'll come right now. I don't know the address, he said. I'm in a building. It's dark. There are apartments. I'll try to find something with an address on it. I heard movement through the phone, footsteps. Then the line went dead. Gone. I immediately called back. The recording played. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. I tried 15 more times. Same message, every time. My dead son had just called me asking for help, and then he vanished. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I sat on my bed, staring at my phone, willing it to ring. At 6:30 a.m., I drove to the cemetery. I needed to see the grave. I needed proof he was still there. The grave looked exactly the same as it always did. Gray stone. The ground was solid and undisturbed. Michael, I whispered. Are you down there? When I checked my phone, the call was there in my history. Michael's name, 2:47 a.m., 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Not a dream. Real. I took a screenshot of the call log. I needed evidence. I needed proof that I wasn't losing my mind. 3 days passed. Nothing. On the 4th day, at 3:15 a.m., it rang again. His name, his picture. I answered before the first ring finished. Michael? Dad? His voice came through. He sounded worse than before. I found something. I found an address. Where? What's the address? He read it slowly. Keturi tukstancie dushimtai keturi yastishim tsiptini Riverside Avenue, apartment Ashtwani, Moorfield, West Virginia. That's 2 states away, I said. What are you doing there? I don't know how I got here. But Dad, something's really wrong. I went outside today and people looked right through me. A woman walked into me. Like I wasn't solid. I think I'm dead. I think I'm a ghost or something. You're not a ghost, I said. You're talking to me. Ghosts can't use phones. He laughed, but it sounded broken. Then what am I? I look in mirrors, and I see someone older. I see a face that's almost mine, but not quite. Can you please come get me? I don't want to be here anymore. I'm coming, I said. Stay where you are. I'm leaving right now. I'll be there in 8 hours. Can you wait 8 hours? I'll try. Dad? I'm scared. Those 3 words destroyed me. The line went dead again. Before I left, I called the phone company. I asked them to pull records for my son's old number. A supervisor came on the line. Mr. Porter, the number you're asking about has been deactivated for nearly 2 decades. Our system shows no recent activity whatsoever. His tone became careful. Sir, sometimes grief can cause us to see things that aren't there. Perhaps you should speak with someone. I hung up on him. I didn't need a therapist. I needed answers. If you're captivated by this story of unbreakable paternal love and a mystery that defies logic, please hit that like button and subscribe to Stoic Love. I drove straight through. 7.5 hours later, I arrived at 11:47 a.m. The address led me to an old apartment building, 4 stories, red brick. But something was wrong immediately. A faded orange sign hung on the fence. Condemned, no trespassing, scheduled for demolition. This building was abandoned. I slipped through a hole in the fence and found a door with a broken lock. I stepped through into darkness. The smell hit me immediately. Mold, rot. This place had been abandoned for years. I reached the 3rd floor. My heart pounded. And then I found apartment 8. Unlike every other door in the building, this one was closed. Fully closed. The number 8 hung straight and clean. I reached out and turned the handle. It wasn't locked. The door opened smoothly, silently. I pushed it open and stepped inside. Then I stopped breathing. The apartment was perfect. Completely perfect. The walls were painted soft blue. The carpet was beige and spotless. The air didn't smell like mold. It smelled like soap and coffee. I walked further inside. The living room had furniture, everything neat and arranged. On the walls were photographs. They were photos of my family. Me and my wife and Michael. Pictures from his childhood, his graduation. But then there were photos that never existed. Photos that couldn't exist because he died at 19. Photos that showed Michael older, in his 30s, standing in front of this exact apartment building. Smiling, alive. I walked into the kitchen, clean dishes in the drying rack. A coffee mug on the counter with brown liquid still in the bottom, still slightly warm. I opened the refrigerator. Food inside, fresh, recent. Someone was living here. I saw a note held to the door by a magnet. I recognized the handwriting immediately. Michael's handwriting. I read it. Dad, if you're reading this, I don't know what's happening to me. I woke up here 3 weeks ago with no memory of how I got here. I have ID that says my name is Marcus Powell. I'm 38 years old. I work at a factory, but it's not my life. I remember being Michael. I remember dying in that accident. I think I'm supposed to be dead. Please help me figure out what happened. I walked to the bedroom. On the nightstand sat a wallet and a set of keys. I picked up the wallet and opened it. Inside was a driver's license. The photo showed a man who looked like an older version of my son. Same eyes, same nose, same slight scar on his chin from when he fell off his bike at age 7. But the name on the license said Marcus James Powell. Date of birth, the 12th of April 1986. The same birthday as Michael. I sat down on the bed because my legs wouldn't hold me anymore. My son died 20 years ago, but according to this license, he'd been living here under a different name. I read through medical records I found in a drawer. Marcus Powell had been admitted to County General Hospital on the 3rd of November 2005, the same hospital where my son died. The same date, the same night. He'd been in a severe car accident. He was in a coma for 6 days. When he woke up, he had complete amnesia. No ID was found at the scene. He became a John Doe. He chose his own name, Marcus Powell. I called the number on a business card clipped to the file, Dr. Sarah Chen, neurologist. I told her the impossible story. We had 2 young men brought in from the same intersection within an hour of each other, she said. Both were in critical condition. Both had severe head trauma. One didn't make it. The other survived but lost all memory of his identity. Was there any chance they could have been confused? I asked. Could their charts have been mixed up? Could there have been a mistake about which one died? She sighed. Mr. Porter, I understand you're grieving. But what you're suggesting is simply not possible. Your son was identified by you personally at the hospital. You saw him. You confirmed his identity. But you didn't have fingerprints for the John Doe, did you? I said. He had no ID. You never knew who he really was. My son called me, twice. From a disconnected phone number. Something happened that night. Please help me figure out what it was. If you believe in the possibility of second chances against all odds, tell us what you would do next in the comments below. Doctor. Chen's voice softened. Give me until tomorrow. I'll pull everything I can find. But Mr. Porter, I need you to prepare yourself for the possibility that you won't like what you find. I drove to County General Hospital the next morning. Doctor. Chen met me in the lobby. I spent all night going through archives, she said. What I found doesn't make sense, but you need to see it. She showed me records. Patient A, Michael Porter, was pronounced dead at 12:17 a.m. Patient B, John Doe, arrived 6 minutes later, survived, but had severe amnesia. She turned her laptop toward me and opened a file. Side-by-side photos appeared. The hospital photo of John Doe and the driver's license photo of Marcus Powell. That's my son, I whispered. That's Michael. Here's what doesn't make sense, Dr. Chin continued. We treated 2 patients with nearly identical injuries from the same location at almost the same time. But the police report lists only 1 car accident that night. Unless the patients were somehow confused during intake. It was a chaotic night. If someone made assumptions about which patient was which. So you're telling me I buried the wrong person? I said flatly. That my son has been alive this entire time and I didn't know? I'm telling you there are irregularities that warrant investigation, she said. I'm telling you that Marcus Powell may need to be DNA tested. The man who survived as John Doe has the same blood type as your son. And according to intake photos, similar facial features despite the trauma. She handed me a DNA test kit. If this man is your son, he doesn't remember being your son. Approaching him could be traumatic. But if there's even a chance he's Michael, I have to see him, I said. If you find this story emotionally compelling, please share this video with someone who understands the complexity of grief and hope. Your support helps Stoic Love grow. I went to Moorfield Manufacturing that night. I sat in my car watching workers arrive. At 10:52 p.m., a silver Honda pulled in. A man got out. Tall, maybe 6'1". Something about the walk, the slight slouch made my chest tighten. Michael used to walk exactly like that. I got out of my car and followed him. He reached the entrance and stepped under the bright lights. I could see him clearly now. It was Michael's face. 20 years older. Exactly how he would look if he'd lived. I waited until break time. I walked toward him. Can I help you? He asked. His voice. Michael's voice but deeper. You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm sorry, I managed to say. You look like someone I used to know. That's weird, he said slowly. You look familiar too. Have we met before? Maybe, I whispered. He laughed nervously. I've had weird dreams lately. Really vivid ones. About a life I don't remember living. Sometimes my mind makes up stories. Lately the dreams have been intense. I see people I don't recognize but feel like family. And there's this one man who keeps appearing. Older guy. Always sad. Always watching me. I think it's supposed to be my father. What does he look like? I asked. Marcus looked at me for a long moment. Like you, he said quietly. He looks exactly like you. I lost someone a long time ago, I said. Someone who looked like you. What was his name? Michael, I said. His name was Michael. Marcus went very still. That's impossible, he whispered. How did you know that name? I've been having these dreams. In them, people call me Michael, not Marcus. I always wake up confused, because that's not my name. But everyone in the dreams uses that name like it belongs to me. He pulled out his phone. 3 weeks ago, I woke up and found this in my notes app. He turned the phone toward me. On the screen were 3 words written over and over. I am Michael. I am Michael. I am Michael. I pulled the DNA test kit from my pocket. I need to ask you something. Will you let me take a DNA sample? Just a cheek swab. Why? What's going on? Because I think you're my son, I said. I think you're Michael. And I think you've been alive this whole time. Marcus went white. That's not possible, he said. I died. I remember dying. So do I said. But what if we were both wrong? What if something happened that night that no one understood? I held up the DNA kit. Then prove me wrong. If I'm right, don't you want to know? He nodded. Okay, he whispered. I took the sample and sealed it. 48 hours, I said. A doctor at County General Hospital is running the test. She'll compare your DNA to mine. What do I do until then? How do I go to work and act normal when my entire reality might be a lie? Can I call you? Can I give you my number so we can talk? He nodded. What do I call you? He asked. Whatever feels right, I said. John. Or David. Or nothing at all until we know for sure. He saved the contact as John. Then he looked at me with an expression of pure pain. If the test comes back positive, if I really am your son, I don't remember being him. I've lived as Marcus Powell for 20 years. That's the only life I know. The words felt like a punch. Even if he was Michael, he wasn't the Michael I lost. I understand, I said. I just need to know the truth. Whatever happens after, we'll deal with it. If you're already deeply invested in finding out what happens next, click the link in the description to check out our previous highly requested story. You won't regret it. 2 days later, Dr. Chin called me. Mr. Porter, I found something. It's a match. Marcus Powell is your biological son. Michael is alive. I called Marcus. It's positive, I said. You're Michael. You're my son. I heard him crying. Deep, broken sobs. I don't know what to do, he said. I don't know how to be him. I don't remember him. We stayed on the phone crying together for 10 minutes. We met at a diner 2 hours later. He sat across from me. Up close in the daylight, I could see Michael so clearly in his face. But I could also see the stranger he'd become. I don't know where to start, he said. I've spent my entire adult life not knowing who I was. And now I know. But it doesn't feel real. I buried you, I said. I mourned you. And you were alive the whole time. I'm so sorry, he said. I know that doesn't fix 20 years. But I'm sorry you had to go through that. It's not your fault, I said. No one is to blame. But I can't ask you to give up your identity. You're also Marcus Powell. But I want to try, he said. I want to know who I was. I want to understand the life I lost. Even if I can never fully remember it. I want to try. Then we take it slow, I said. We spend time together. We talk. We figure this out one day at a time. He reached across the table. His hand shook. I took it. We sat in that diner for 4 hours. We exchanged phone numbers properly this time. Not as John Williams and Marcus Powell. As David Porter and Michael Porter. Father and son. Over the next 3 months, we met every week. I told him about his childhood, his dreams of going to college. He listened to every word like he was hearing a story about a stranger. Sometimes recognition flickered in his eyes. I contacted the cemetery and had the grave examined. The body buried there was tested. It belonged to a 19-year-old named Christopher Hayes, a runaway with no family. He died in my son's place and been buried under my son's name. I had his remains moved to a proper grave with his real name on the stone. The calls stopped after the DNA test came back. Michael's number never rang again. Whatever impossible thing had reached across 20 years to bring us together was finished. I'd brought him home. Not the way I'd imagined. But as the man he'd become, we would never get back the time we'd lost. But we had now. We had tomorrow. We had a second chance that shouldn't have existed. We all need a second chance, whether in life or in love. Subscribe to Stoic Love now and join our community dedicated to healing and finding hope in the darkest stories. I buried my son 20 years ago. Then he called me from beyond death and said he was just lost, and I brought him home.